needs compassion, a love that's never failing. Let mercy fall on me. Everyone needs forgiveness, the kindness of the Savior, the hope of nations. Savior.
This is Chariot TV.
Yeah, my own name by the Chariot TV. And so ha a action time. Happy Anna, what do we figure out to him say more kwaba na ye would media kese ewo eda yenim a yeba discuss. Your best say baby I will share Fibiano. You can subscribe to the platform you're watching us from, whether on YouTube or whether on Facebook. You can also copy the link and then share on WhatsApp media platforms. So that they are as many as possible. We would have a lot of people watching the program, and then we can also make progress with it. Last week, Yaba Ebe share the Christian and the ballot box. Exactly 13 days from today, Yaba call a battle also. Ghana will go and then elect their leaders. Or mine penny, and I said, you be your mind any young parliamentarians. And so there are so many things that we need to know as far as electing our leaders is concerned. So more action time I have for the say about leadership papa and you share so many topics on leadership. You share the youth and leadership. You also share leadership failure. In fact, you bet WhatsApp discussion so sometime. But currently, what we are doing is also related to leadership. In that you share okwanya on my mooning in no efaso eyi near for. Na no from the Christian perspective. And akwakoye abatuo afi so there. Now we cannot run away from the fact that we are also citizens of the country. Last week, Yababe share the system of governance and Kasa we looked at the introductory part. We had our guests give us extensive explanations as to the varied types of governance systems we have in the world. Omo ekan say ye wo kebi mamin kebi, ye wo kamen kebi, any other forms of governance are they highlighted. Na Ghana no system one ye use no kebi mamin kebi, and I said democracy. Now, as part of the democratic system of governance, we have periodic elections. And I said, akwenya da honum emaye say maybe so Ghana fo nyina be kire o ma adwen say yepese yi nipa ba ko na say yepese yi nkrofokuo bi ema omudi oman no anim. That was what we discussed last week, and then we looked at a few things about the reasons why people decide not to participate in the democratic system. Babe who said voting and kasankasa it is a right. Babe share from the biblical perspective. Some people even say nyankopon ana why the need to even vote. It's the one share. If you were not part of the discussion last week, you missed so much because we talked so much about some of these things. Last week, I had two panelists, and then I have one of them with me. Na enchebiano medanedi ama shefu unzafi and I will join you. I said just let us know where you are watching us from, and then share the link. Subscribe to the channel Chariot TV. Action time asun. And let us all contribute to the discussion today. Na another discussion is into me enye one in a kind. Me guests ene Shadrach Opon ebe join na yedi enkomo a ene wo say yedi no. Na me kai before quickly no Mekafe for say yen regular guests are a year or what action time. I feel for almost action time. The woman said your regular guests are anka or tie any didn't come but and then oni ha na menam akwanya we so kai ahwefo nyina sɛ ɔmaame ɔwo no wa kan sɛ wada ne benkum so sɛ deɛ mpanyimfoɔ ɛka no na ne stand no nyankopɔn yɛ adom a bosome a yɛwɔ mu no ne de twa to November 30th yɛbɛpɛ ne maame fadeɛ na sɛ de ha ɛwɔ ɔboase hia kuro no yɛ ɔboase hia manka ne yɛ amfa nkyɛ me time no I think from the mid night is around 8 a.m. sharp 8 a.m. sharp nti no ahwɛfoɔ mu wɔ saa kuro no ɛso no anaasɛ ɔmo a mo wɔ pɛ sɛ ɔmo betumi akɔ akɔboa yɛ nua bɛrima no time no edu a na mo ahyɛ ne nso ɛde ama yɛn nyankopɔn yɛ adom a yɛn nso yɛde yɛn mpaeɛ ɛbɛtae n'akyi nti no mo ehunu wɔ ha na that is the reason why ɛnɛ ɔnka yɛn ho Brother Shadrach me mo akɔ aba
yeah open
na apome
bra me ho yɛ na also what to say
nyankopɔn adom me nso me ho yɛ papa we there quickly. So last week we discussed so many things. In the introductory part of the whole discussion. Yeah, democracy. Now you baby who say one to a bar and as a to a bar and your bonnet as opposed to what some people teach and as I make specifically at the Jehovah's Witnesses. But for the sake of Omo joining in last week, just give us a quick, very quick 2 minutes overview of Nyamana Boboso last week instead of Ashafua and then the first time Omo joining in Omo me baby fever na ya to discussion so.
Yo bro, me da say mamfa akwenye na menchia enuanom omo hwe action time Yes, last week you started Emma Yebobo Nema Bebre so na the na ka titru and say about to ehu hia no Nyankopon expectation is say yen ye be exercise yen right to vote. Now bro my men can say you see voting is not just a right, it is also a responsibility.
Okay.
And you can say you deciding not to vote is a vote in itself.
Yeah.
So what you say on to about what to abandon? Because you are telling people say omo ko chusu de omo pe na de ombe chusu bia no o ye den oji
support it.
Yes, that is what it means. Okay. And so because of media, mean to about, you have voted already, because that's what you are saying, that people should select the leaders and then you concur. Obia or we okay with it. And let people understand. Say when you make that decision, then you're going to live by it. So as I say, after you can say about to a idea ye de nipa ye pe so di and so. Now that decision now ye making a compare a lot of things. And never be brave and a wujina so actually the opposite will do so. And some of them can be your Christian from looking at things from your Christian perspective. So as I say, any other things they be in there, yeah, because so abubo so and I'm a brave and you're talking about why people choose not to vote. And they can't say they are angry, they are disappointed, they feel like any power will not win, so they will not even waste their time in voting. And these are some of the things I have also.
Okay. Near kind for say high action time. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Baby, I'll share if you are dropping your comments, and as time goes on, as the discussion progresses, we would also read them. And then on the percent, yes, share. We want to answer this question. Say, who should I vote for? Nyankopon yɛ adom a next week, I think 2 weeks from now, we would have voted. Na ebia nyame yɛ adom a na yɛhu deɛ anaasɛ mpanyinfoɔ ɔmba bɛdi ɔman no so for the next 4 years. A question ne sɛ, hwan na aso Kristoni no mento aba ɛma no? Me sure say by the end of today's discussion, no, we would have found the answer. There are about 13 different candidates. Memfa say -1 CCA because Bako and Tia Menyane say panelists. But for the 12 other candidates, who we should vote for by the end of this discussion. It is a very interesting thing. Like when we try to look at the whole thing about it, sure, the Bible has a lot of things to say to us. But before that, Christopher, I want us to, before the election and during the election and even after the election, suban paying and answer behavior ben was say ye danedi ema ye afoforo ehu efa ye ho say ye a Christopher yesiesie ye ho anase ye to aba anase ye twen abato no hunsunso. So just give us some of the qualities that are expected of us. Say ye a Christopher ye timemufo yesiesie ye ho say akwa to aba.
Obed medase deɛ ɛtwa sɛ nipa nyinaa hyɛ ne nso ɛne sɛ God wants us to always portray to the world say yɛ ne ma.
Okay,
that's the first thing. Ɛsɛ obi a ɔnam wiase a also from Kristoni no wɔde to adwene say at any point in time God wants us to portray to the world that we are his children. I'm saying I can kind some passages for us to be able to see that. But you're starting from 2 Corinthians 3 no. 2 Corinthians chapter 3 no. Okay. Verse 1 no, mommy.
I'll say, do we begin again to commend ourselves, or do we need, as some others, epistles of commendation to you, or letters of commendation from you? Verse 2, you are our epistle, written in our hearts, known and read by all men. Clearly, you are an epistle of Christ, ministered by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tablets of stone, but on tablets of flesh, that is of the heart.
Ti asem na Bible ka no. O say moye nwoma watworo e de amawiase. What must say? Wamfa pen ni ink na choroye. Na mo de Onyankopon honhom e na choroye. And also o de amawiase say wiase enkenkan oto aso kakra o say.
O say, and we have such trust through Christ toward God, not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think of anything as being from ourselves, but our sufficiency is from God.
The point in Paul no say God wants us to let the people out there see say we are elected into, we are walking epistles, we are people that God has called us to let the world know say we are his children. Into the young portray suban nyankopon mane. That is what the text is saying. Now, say nyankopon mane Obed, what do you think? What do you think will be the conduct of God when it comes to elections? Ufi say onyankopon conduct ewo abatu mu no ebeye saying. So that is what we have to first of all think about. It anytime biana also say o conduct as a Christian, it is something God wants you to do already, and He's saying, say, what your letter the Ameriase, letter no way. Also, anyway, inti abraba ubo wiase no is a letter that God has written to the world for them to read it.
I see.
And so, say, ubo brasa we will be a akakabensem open to kwa. What are you telling the world?
And so,
You are telling the world, say, akakabensem now there. Inti abrabo biara yebebo was asisi no. It's a letter that we are sending to the world. Say, read it. This is us. Now, over the yesu na yenyini ba no. Say, okoya ade wa bonti no bi shawa. Otimi from busa say ho ba no.
Yeah.
So in that case, you are elected to the world by your father, by your parent. It won't say, oh yeah, ade na nya o parent no kan kire say ade a we enye. Na onyankopon expect say ene man pa dia, then we imitate him. In 1 Corinthians 11 verse 1, no then okay.
Say, imitate me as I imitate.
As I imitated Christ.
Yeah.
It onyankopon expectation is say ye be dying a disampa yesua Kristo. Mfaro to aso beka cho say mo ansua Kristo sa.
Yeah.
Na say yesua Kristo. Yesua say opentokwa.
Debbie.
Yesua say o twese so obeko. Debbie. Yesua say odidi nkrofo atemu abonten. Debbie. Enti no, yes, about 1 year to who party I will join in, who party I open asem, who nkrofo I open asem. But question say, so anye bia e kwan ben so na obefa, obedan wo ho adi a emma nkrofo mo hwe no. Wo mo nka se abrante woni suban. Abrante enkoyi. Those are the things that say yeshana so obey.
I see.
Now, what opese odan this way Christo need there, then you own God that responsibility to portray to the world say ampa who you Christo need. It yes, that's one of them. Afe we a Christo near Mr. Medica ka say we elected we will be a usia Christo who portray Christ to the people. Afe we a peacemaker. But there's a passage in Crawford in Genesis chapter 49, the verse 10 and 11.
Okay.
Genesis 49, the 10,
Genesis 49,
yes.
10, 11. I'll say, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and to him shall be the obedience to the people.
Shiloh, now count, hold on. The peace bearer or the peacemaker.
Okay.
Or the container of peace.
Peace. Okay.
It is the scepter shall not depart from Judah until Shiloh comes. And unto him shall be what?
The obedience of the people.
The obedience of the people. Inti Shiloh be ba onu na nam so meme nipa yesutie ede amo Yankopon. Shiloh be ya is Jesus Christ. Okay. The Bible describes him as the Prince of Peace. Yeah. Asumjehine. It is a way Christo ni ampa. Debe na bema wo aya say esa otwese kanko. Ese udidi atem. Ese o twede. All because okopa adwuma ma obi papa. Adwuma na akopa ma obi papa. The last week me can say wo party wo no wo interest wo say wo win akoye MP. Wo ye win ya ma opposition o conduct a different kakra.
Yeah.
Because wo interest wo. Now wo we timamuni keke do be win bia say Why do you want to fight? Oldman say, you know, these are things that me feel say, say, enuanomo eshanon so, they kind. You know, imitate Christ, you are elected, and then also portray, say, ampa, we ubia, odi asumje ever. Bro, asumje ni moa, emwa.
I see. Yeah, that was it. Safi ana wo join here ya best say obeshare link no na afofo nso etimi enya eye discussion mu echefa. Yeah, that's it. Now study wo kan no I think what's it Jesus Christ asumdwe hene. So we should also portray that that peace to the world, especially during elections. And I said before, during, and then after elections. Said the
Yes,
who say so the epistle and I say letter so that is well understood. But my problem is, so should we still be peaceful if Yefan said Yepotuaba na obi wiem, and I say we assume it is alleged say obi wiem should you still be peaceful, and shouldn't you invoke something called your right? And I said now so and I want you to just clarify that part for me.
Me I say, bro, you can say be peaceful. It does not mean say don't let yema embra nyejuma.
Okay.
That's not what we are saying. What does the law say when it comes to abattoir? What does the law say? Emrana say obi to aba obi be we ballot boxer ana obi de ewiamu ba yenye ne den. Eti you as your friend say citizen na who feel say obi pese oyes ade no. What should you do? Bro, we are not in Banana Republic. Ye ni baby a ye ni mbra and waka said the open be a bit my day. Aye. No. Ye mbra. It you know, mbra no den e kanchire den say yenye si ehu sa na ema no. What do I say? Entu me kan kwachi obi nyina ho say ompene na office report the person, call in the police, get your evidence. What do I say? Because most of the times, you know, and gidi court so yeah the evidence na yeah juma. It took go do court say evidence or say mi hui pa. No, and yet the only the juma. What is your evidence? Prove it. Say uwo inyina so sa de no. Nti no sa basa ye ni gidi semne de ebekone ade no. Bro, enye Christopher suban no. Enye Christopher suban. Eti no say ukoto say obi ewi abamu ana obi pese oye bribi what report the person to the appropriate quarters. Say be ya beboa e de asumdi aba. Na bro ukoye gidi na obi a owi ade kromfo so nani abreo. No the second ko twa on sa. Ube wi e beto aba na wi na on sa na esini. Yes. It's no why are they aboa one answer? So people need to think through when it comes to more conduct when it comes to elections.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think sir, it is very clear. Say how we go about it, especially being Christians, because so we should be very, very careful. Not necessarily even our actions, even in some way, it is also very, very, very important. That's a pastor who pointed out at the chain. Okay, let's try and then zoom into the discussion proper. Obi ate so many things about all the various 12 candidates are on ballot papers. There are 13, but actually there are 12. There are so many people or so many messages have gone out from these 12 people to the nation or the citizenry as a whole. And someone may be confused, say, where's he say? Where's he say? Where's he say? Where's he say? I know that there are some people whose mind have been made up. They know who they are going to vote for. There are others who, as at now, they really don't know who to vote for because, honestly speaking, they are confused. But last week, because of the discussion, hopefully, no, almost the fact of my James so, yeah, I person a tour about this year. Now, 13 days from now. Are there any things or what does the Bible say? Like, are there any significant things we can put our hands on and based on that, select our candidates, select our parliamentarians, select our presidential candidates? The person the Bible version of it. What are some of the principles and some of the values and what are some of the characteristics we should look out for when selecting our leaders? In other words, who should we vote for, Brother Shadrach? Okay.
Now, we are not going to get a direct text portraying the Ghanaian setting because the Bible was not written in a Ghanaian setting.
Of course.
But we're going to get a text from Deuteronomy 17. When we are selecting leaders. In fact, there are ways I selecting leaders.
Yeah.
All about say. But before you come, now have biblical point of view. No, we say number one, there are some key things consider when it comes to your friend is saying selecting leaders for the nation or for a society. Now, one of them are the values.
Okay.
Values. Onipa biara otiasa asiso no said ne adwen ne nsusuye ene na brabo su etie no ekire said osiye ne nema.
Okay.
It is a you want to consider the person's values.
Now, okay, values now, what do you mean by that? Value, then I'll patch it.
Then ne na husuo na brabo then a guide na brabo no.
Okay.
Mrabe na wa ama ono no ho a anase gidie be no kura no mu a eno no kire no nema oye. What I say because the obia beye bia was asisi no ejina said na adwen ni gidie ene ni ntete esitie.
Okay.
If the person does not have anything a guiding one, if your values in say o conform to normality to say we normal. Na say who be office media about to me waroba bema timi waro bema. Say wo koto aba nipa otesa no wo be consider na won consider.
Me consider.
Exactly. So these are some of the things I can want to say. It is nipa no dia wo susu ni dia wo dwene no. Ono no dia tesen. And so now work of casting a vote because casting a vote for somebody, they say you are giving that person a mandate, say he can act on your behalf. What I say, the person you have given the person the right. Your friend is saying the right to make decisions for you. It is any kind of values, no, and say onu nyina adwen pe. Then what does it mean? It means that we a stranger. and I make a decision for you. 18 abato is a intina station be brain now make say a decision time, because decisions be brain wa brabo we mu a you cannot take them to me. Sometimes you delegate your decisions. So delegation now we no baako a government ebi a obi andwe ho ebi a nipa enhyeda nhu ni saa say wa abato no a delegation and a wokoye no, because e ka say open crofo bo ho ban e o man ni mu. We need time to make that decision, and I would need the right say unko be make that decision. It's end the yempe nipakuo bi na emfa sa adwuma no hye omonsa. So your security is controlled by them. What must I say? Your economy is controlled by them. Your children's education is controlled by them. In that case, you know, don't you think, say, you have to consider the person? I would say humanitarian is out.
Yeah,
I think so. What I say, I feel the experience and the competence of the person.
Okay.
Nipa no, then a wire pain. And then ogusu ye. Then na ye to abama na ye rest assured so obeto aye adwuma no. What must I say? Obia di ni CV aba. They metima yeni. Then based on that, you know, you are the employer. Then I'm catching us about to a adwuma na akopa obi papa. Because ye to abana mo wi a enye for free o. Bosum bi kwaje hu sikadi.
Yeah.
Eti adwuma na akopa obi papa. Enti adwuma na all the man no. You would like to find out the experience. What is his knowledge? Ninim de te saying. Na adwuma ye te saying.
Okay.
What must say the competence. And then obetima ye anana no keke no de kan. So all the candidates and all the omoto you have to cross check. It is about to a decision. So you check all these people and find out say to your satisfaction. And then you cast your vote for that person. It values, experience, and competence have a character and accountability.
Oh.
Nisuman to say, or you'll be our pema. Or ye, and ye Bible more, besa can sound the man in other interestingly obey. Or ye, Obi a udi mechi kra. And I say, oye, Obi a 7 nenum kasanye. Obi a oye kromfo. We be oye corrupt. We be a oye otrofo. Trawon tora match say they all can in our boans no kanchiro. So you need to find out what is the character of this person and how accountable and responsible is that person. So yeah, the nya obe kanchiro say we dey my yen ye wa ha. And I say on found ho. Yeah, afi enipa no oyobi a odwen enipa ho odwen munsusuye ho odwen odaache ho odwen wo ma ho odwen wapomuden ho odwen usuku sem ho hotmas odwen mo economy no ho. All these things need to be considered when you are voting. Now I want us to go to Deuteronomy 17. Near the text, no.
But answer me from the little things, from the things you've highlighted, no. It seems to me that then Brother Shadrach said to go to the polls and then like cast your vote, you know, you must have done a lot of research, because from let's kakra values, experience, competence, accountability, and character. No? You don't just get it by osmosis. You need to have done a proper and a thorough research of the person you are casting or you decide to cast your vote for. It's, people should not take the practice of voting lightly at all. I really I don't know, but my perception about voting has really broadened as a result of this discussion.
Yeah, honestly, most of the times you can vote in more. I call no one fair, no na me peno. I call a cocoa, I go to me peno. Oh, whether a TikTok, whether I like the way he talks. Yeah, the sad they are not say Trimuan and only they atu about for years. Ain't you know, gradually, thank be to God, a change kakra. They say Ghana hano, you do about to now ni shake. Obiano about to about now, the essence of Ghana had all. We have politicians who know how to criticize but have no solution.
I see.
And then we have those who have the idea said they take
Oh, okay. So they take the Ghanaian for a ride.
For a ride, because here they are it, you know, you see, say in certain aspects of this country, you know, it is an American election. They are blue states. Omo campaign, no. They don't go there. They don't go there. They don't waste their time to go there. Because there you will win. What must I say? It's who say a Kamala, a Democrat for near bread and then a campaign or Maryland, a campaign or New York. What must I say? A campaign or DC. Omunye. Or best spending the time or Arizona, Georgia, what must I say? North Carolina, Florida, any Pennsylvania, because any Michigan, these are places, you know, all because those are places are friends, battlegrounds, neutral places. I'm friend of purple states.
Okay.
Over Ghana, the same thing. But yet the different kakra. Yet the is on tribal lines. On my say, you know, Obi NDC near Unim say voter is there for me. Obi
campaign or
yes, it's a honor near the major place to concentrate. What do I say? They will concentrate on other places. One more if he said they can pull vote to come and support them.
Now, and no, Brother Shadrach, just to pause there, what causes certain parts of the country to be so attracted to one political party, not the other? Like, what is the genesis of SAR?
Mostly historical issues.
Okay.
Most of the times in Ghana, how the parties came up.
Okay.
Voter region vote for NDC because the founder of NDC came from there.
Okay.
Ashantis vote for NPP because their leaders, came up. They are part of the formation of the NPP.
Okay.
It is or I say any vote for them. It is some better so some year, someone year. They don't consider those things.
But from the workers to see much as we shouldn't focus because man who tribal line be out from the things you highlighted.
Yes, but you see, you cannot take that away from our politics. Unfortunately, people will continue to do that. But what we are trying to advocate is people going beyond the tribal lines, to also think about other things that just a informal or more a decision in whom to vote for.
Okay.
Especially if you're a Christian.
Okay.
Because you're a Christian here, God in Deuteronomy 14, Deuteronomy 17, God gave how leaders are to be selected. And those leaders, on my specifications. Let's go to Deuteronomy 17. On my specification, whom should we vote for? Number one, they say, Obed, a candidate who is a citizen from your countrymen.
Okay, this is a
candidate.
Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 14.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Also saying.
Okay. I'll say, when you come to the land which the Lord your God is giving you, and possess it, and dwell in it, and say, I will set a king over me like all the nations that are around me. You shall surely set a king over you, whom the Lord your God chooses, one from among your brethren. I think I don't know how come answer.
You are going to choose a leader whom the Lord approves.
Yeah.
Does it mean God is going to select the leader for you? Yes, that's what happened in your friend saying Israel for the time. But is it the same thing happening in our time? No. God is not selecting any politician for us. But is God involved in it? Yes. But odiphobia bekanchira say onyame yi a kire ne say we na ye nto abama no na we na nyame yi na ofa oboa. The tia oboa na ne say God is interested in what is happening in our lives. He's interested in our leaderships and all that. But he is not interested in our politics. And ekwanya enipa na ya dwen ni osusuye no nipa ye peno no ono ana obeba. The people are not going to vote for party A, and then by the time we be count to aba no nyankopon atan vote to party B. Meaning out to them person channel say.
Yeah.
That is why we say that God is not part of it. God is not part of the selection. All say ekwadonko away oko. And no better man can say yes, God doesn't want her to be part of it. Into no yentimi to abamano. What about the rest? They are there in the process. Bro, say any pair of mine no. Essay when ye penal. No koto aba. And no more F4 paper no normally ballot box no more. God is not going to turn the vote to party B because he is the supreme God. No, he doesn't do that. God respects our choices.
Yeah.
Say make a decision say you pay we are. Or no na yebenya. But what God is telling us and say when we go to choose we should consider somebody who is a citizen, not a foreigner. Now I'm saying Kamala Harris ba Ghana, Obaha, Okoye Parliament, Okoye Presidency, Okoye Parliament there Okoye Kachiro. Say they should allow everybody's right to choose the person on another. Et imagine says I'm way e wo tumi say obedi Ghana so a kede ne besi. Or the culture any ideas and about share or mine so.
Yeah.
That is why when we are voting we are voting for somebody who knows us, who is part of us. Remember, I talk about our values. It just said Nippon or respecting your culture and your values as a nation. No, you're willing so be promote to yang. yen culture ne values no. Say the city ma. Say the esi eye yen say esi do yen say esi pass ndue. It is obi ba na ne kasa kire say akwa do pentokwa. Hweniye. Obi ba na wasoa ne makogu abrochire ne yere ne manni ha. Na opiapia wo ye be kun we will fight. No obusan say na o ma na we. O medi anim ne yanko. You know, say on man and man me come home there. Then you should not also send your children to go and do that. That's something you need to think about. The Bible is telling us say the people now you're best selecting, they should be people who are with us. They shouldn't be foreigners. Inti emani mumbra say obi a eso eto abama no, he should be a Ghanaian. It is a we are Ghana ni na naturalize ma obi omanfo fra. Na sa also person sa ba. I just say udi na say o citizenship or the other place, you know. And yes, how you cannot stand. On my say, so these are things that a trust say your channel now. Brown said, just like in eldership. Bible and say, see ye elders should be selected among the congregation, true or false?
Yeah.
Adintra. Because the person no onu ebe tena no wahwe no watoto nema aboa wasetena. It is only if he is not among you then what is happening? Then it means that you are going to select people who don't know you, who don't know your worries, who don't know your tears, the troubles you're going through. No, they don't know. So how do they make policies and laws and decisions a bit affecting you positively in your life? Intigreon nipa na okoto abama no. Nipa no say na osi hu yen. Say na nitusie tete odo yen sen amanfofro ana odo manfofro bi esen yen. Ehin no aye ni investment. Bro, onye sika no ode akoyi investment wa abrochire. Wa anya bi wo man we mu. O mi adwuma. Hold my say onye sika no de ko no akoyi invest wa abrochire. It is any pana who got to Obama no. O got to Obama na manenya more money because he's going to be paid. When you more money, then or the cop or co-invest
co-invest outside.
So when we say a citizen vote for somebody who is a member of the nation, we are talking about be or don't minor or minor who are drained down a so.
I think that is where we should emphasize because we share more ballot papers as well. Of course, all of them were born here, but we are going beyond that. Say, the person who be a nakuma,
that's it. That is why God tells us, say, select somebody or yet or mine back. Or your mind bano say nakuma edimochi. Yes, or do baby saying. But because see I can say, bro, who select a leader be now say America president be or a UK president be a prime minister be friend catch and say more and you say or mama anymore. Yeah, mamu, yeah. Obejatum. It's you and I have the responsibility say akwana yeko vote amano no bro oyobia obeboya na. Number 2, that person should not send us back.
Actually, repeat it.
He should not send us back. And says what the
okay. Okay.
Verse 16 is the same.
Verse 16. But he shall not multiply horses for himself, nor cause my people to return to Egypt to multiply horses.
Okay. Eti nipa na mo be selecting as a leader no. Israel man mo no. The person should not go back to Egypt. Because you were in Egypt. And I'm making you free Egypt or ever came as so. So when you are selecting leaders, think about it. If that person no onijide omumu, onye na je so move forward. No, the more come with Chidia. Don't consider him.
I said, okay. So we dream who year pan. I said, my dream on where disqualify will be a few more.
Well, my name will be our dream we might disqualify. But I'm looking at what the text is telling us.
I see.
Someone who will send us back into colonialism. What must I say? Colonial regime. Someone obemiyako back to slavery. Someone yebe torsono international a for be torsono munye say mamunye say munye de say munye that person no ye.
I see.
Now bro, you see you descend down, which I'm not going to do. You try on my way mu ehunu bi. MPP abetraso, NDC abetraso. And of course, let me say at the end of the day, yeah, they are these political parties, you know, mu ba ko ne beba. Nipa 12 na eba no. Yempo. By the time we be election, you know, emu 12 na omo ko no. Ba ko ene ebeto abama no. Eti Bible asem ne say, nipa na wo kwoto abama no. Hwe se onfa wo nko wachi. Na breaking it down, bro. And some will
break it mind because it's your purpose any of your purpose so specifically near yeah kasaba before we breaking it down yeah kind of say we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube and all other social media channels. In fact, the discussion is getting warmer. My dream on a hit here, but make kind a few comments about so far. Now yes of for I make a crab before or be breaking some particular subjects move down for us. My Patrick was watching you live from Asante Bepa. You can't say we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube. Maybe if you drop in your comments and you'll read them. Now discussion and so it's very, very interactive. Yes, Richard Donko said and I say he's watching us live from Henderson Church of Christ and go in show. Yet what comments no so bit me the comment Abba Bema Isaac Meza also watching you live. Isaac watching if let us know Isaac Meza where you are watching us from. So now Bema upon Daniel upon so and so H was a good evening and so Yamawajo El baby I was sharing Fibia Isaac at the state was there. Can't we have any law preventing so-called prophets and pastors from announcing the winner to stop confusion? I think that we would come to that, but yeah, that's why I'm coming. It's a very, very good question. Isaac Webisa, and I believe that there are laws, but when you said Ghana, no enforcement has been a major issue. Yeah, that's why I comment. So I took Kwame and I say, God bless our teacher and all the listeners. So very regular commenter Emilia Dane will say good evening brethren, watching you live. Isaac Asanso added the same message. Abba, I think that has been dealt with. So we will come back to the discussion. So maybe I'll hear if you let us know your comments and we will read them out. But I said right now so breaky say Onyankopon ede call back my to about be or the call back. I think you wanted to break it down for us now.
Yes, my and to about ma obi obe take you back.
Okay.
As a nation.
Okay.
The nation has gone through a lot. Odma say any abedru bebe yedru no. Onyankopon asem say when you are selecting leaders, select leaders who will not take you back to Egypt. Egypt, you know, now enkwasumu ema oman no enti no onyankopon nam ne ose basa watene mu ne nsa mu ye den so ena oje mu free sa nkwasum no mu na mo ba beduru ya na mo koyi leader na leader na say I think we should go back. Then that leader has a problem.
I see.
And as a nation, now what we need to do is to listen to all these politicians, their campaign messages, their promises, and then ask ourselves, say, which of them is going to take us back? And which of them is taking us forward?
Okay.
Forget about or more a slogan. We say we are resetting. We say we are upgrading. And it's money there. Forget about those things. And ask yourself, say, what are their policies or their plans when it comes to infrastructure?
Okay.
Say about infrastructure, infrastructure, they help you produce. Otherwise, they help you, they facilitate production.
Okay.
80 ekwan account. Akwan ayeyi. What I say? Your friends say buildings are what do to aid that. About health, what is the policy on the health? Now remember, say each of these political parties, they brought what we call manifesto, true or false.
True.
Now manifesto, say, and we I am finding why did they bring it? They brought it so that you will listen and then make a decision, say, which of these two manifestos, which of these policies, and I bet take it forward, and which of them will take us back. And but the onus lies on you to think through and ask yourself, say, baby, our mind, we are say, a policy way at the other nim, and at the other. When it comes to businesses, education, industries, any economy, decisions are based on the policies about because Akufo-Addo campaign last previous elections, he kept on mentioning free SHS.
Yeah.
Wouldn't him say free SHS secretariat?
Okay.
Yes, we have that. Every policy biano, they end up creating a secretariat or the policy center. Drive that policy. And that is always born by the manifesto decision, the plans a womb. When they were saying one district, one factory, they had something. What must I say? Yeah. Now, the NDC now is saying it's a 24-hour economy.
Yeah.
Omoba, they will create a secretariat for it.
Okay.
What must I say? We must so count there. And what you need to ask yourself, they say, almost so mobile waste may say, no. Bro, Sabio, I didn't date him. Etibusa won say saa niema na obia ofre obia so mechire mu obia ka ne de ye ntro no mu de namu de ye nokre no mu de namu busa wo a wo kwoto aba ne say omu de he e na omu asem omu kan mitie din a e de ebekọ yanim anasa asem na akwa no ka no akwa mi he na abaya no pese metuma no keke. What must I say? Abaya no person to man keke. Na de na ekire say asem na wo ka na obetima ye. In fact, that is where Sawekaya me can show you the person experiences and the competences come in.
Yeah, I think that is where the track record comes in, right?
The track record. Okay. What must I say? Then or no, and thankfully, we have. In fact, I'm going to use NDC and MPP a lot because
they are the main political parties in Ghana.
Exactly, they are the main caucuses of fight also.
Yeah, and
it's not because of Omo party Achintra. I am talking in terms of parliament. It's also parliament here. You're only one independent candidate, one pet.
Yeah.
There were 137 of NPP, 137 of NDC.
NPP, yeah.
80 party akani na obi any a parliamentarian. So I'm going to look at them, the two of them. Question. All tie omumienu nsem omoka. Any name omuso omubeya. You need to then make a decision and ask yourself, say, omumienu, thankfully, President Mahama, why vice president da? Why president? Dr. Bawumia vice president, onye president da. What must say? But the party was power. Almost the last 8 years. They've gone. Last 8 years, and President Mahama, so from 208, 2008 to 2016, and I say 8 years. So compare the 8 years to Wemusu 8 years in terms of infrastructure, in terms of businesses, in terms of and if you like, you can even cast your mind back and look at Kofosu 8 years on Subedi. No, I have Rollins 8 years on Sudi.
I think let's limit to Bawumia Mahama because these are
I'm talking about the two parties, you know.
Okay.
So now track records. Okay. Because bro, the entire test say umpo. One more, you conform here Juma during Rollins time one. They will still be working when NDC win power. They will still be part of the government. And Juma during Kufuor time one, they will also be in government when go and check all the people who are behind the party.
Okay.
But they are ministers, chief executives now. So that's what I'm trying to let you see. Say, look at Sani Manina. But unfortunately, we are Gen Z. So them Gen Z for no.
Yeah.
We are Gen Z, and I say, oh no, we want to be a lot of facts about Rollins time and Kufuor time.
No,
so I say, now, sir, then you are going to look at these last 16 years, no. We must the emu 8. We must the emu 8. Look at their track records, their competences, and then make a decision.
Okay.
It was not said there. Omo kano edo beko back. What do? You decide not to go their direction because so better take you back. What I say? The odo beko anim. Ena ese oshe. Now selecting.
Now there's another
thing. Verse 17. He also saying.
I'll say, neither shall he multiply wives for himself.
What Nipana ukwatu abamano no. She say multiply the
wives
for himself. What does it mean? Wives, what are the implications of a dodo?
Of course. Solomon.
What happened? What created a division in the northern and the southern of kingdoms? No, then they create here. And Solomon yerenum do ntra. Because the Bible teaches say when Rehoboam came into power, and then they see the people went to him and said, Sir, when your father was a king, he laid so many burdens and taxes on us. And he has now reduced the taxes for us. So that you come back to kakra. Solomon taxes not the other. On the back home, Emadu Dokunu. Yes.
I see.
When God tells you, say, Unko select leaders are Jane and who into leaders no busa say dia na opema eti akwana pema walusu vote no because oba on 7 man ye yawo on 7
It's the Bible.
yes, that's what the Bible is saying. He said,
See.
select someone who not multiply wives for himself. And you know, no spend the time. Not or the pema or time or no or the begin wabra bono and all that. No. So you see, it comes back to what we were talking about, character.
Character, yeah.
Old man say, akwane pema or the nabrabo nyina ye masem. Orensa no ogina ni enti no omo a wono mbe ebeye sa ne ma no yempie nkwankwaji ani ya nansa na mete akwabi asema no oka about Donald Trump. Said Donald Trump abrabo nyina or the bog off or the abrabo nyina bog off into a new time cry to think about yourself. But you see the point I'm a person make you understand, bro. If a person has a lot of women, he has a lot of troubles. And yes, women are troubles. But multiple women are troubles. If you are married with one wife, wasum yo. Koko finding out omo yirenum bebre. No more man bebre. Go and find out, say, I'm passing almost wasum yeah.
I think a better story that you check that fact.
Go and find out. Asum ye be any ho. And you know what I am trying to let people see is say God wants you to select leaders. They have encountered, they have entrapped themselves in troubles. Into ni andaje obedwen wo ho. It is a wo ye Kristo ni na okoto ba. Busa on say enkrofon ya omo esan we no. Why na ewo yire no bebre ana ope ma bebre. Now I cast a vote, man. Now let me remind you. Anytime last week, when you cast your vote for somebody, Obed, you are not voting for only that person.
Yeah.
You're also voting for the people around them. Because Oba you no kwana be omano epenyu. Oni nkrofo ne bebu man no. 18 nkrofo mwetwa no we share ma epefo a. Bro, wo wani abre a wo hwes oban be ye bibi na aboa no. Na omo dwen ma ho. O tu kwan a. Now question is why do we have scandals? Hey, yes, we ayirini. Yes, we say. Why? Every time. Yeah, be okay for 4 time.
Yeah.
I always remember because of a dear on friend, no. No, the BB Jesse or some but no more. I can't J. And my mom was called J. Yeah. Yes, I go for one for baby, my boy.
Yeah.
It was a scandal. President Mahama ebetra so ono so ebi by scandal. Nana Akufo-Addo by scandal. And yes, scandal no hu hia me. But my question is why are people interested in those sexual relationships that our leaders have? Why? Because it has to do with the character of the person. It has to do with their values. So, and the Bible is teaching us when you are selecting a leader, select leaders who will not multiply wives for himself. What is the Bible telling us? The Bible is telling us when you select leaders, think about people who are not going to compound problems for themselves. Because when they compound problems for themselves, they will use you to solve the problems. Oko na yerenom dos no mo twe na uvisa wan sika na ode bekwa kwa ese adwuma no taxpayers.
Yeah.
Now the essence say on finance nko bom direct and na wakwache ne say obetena so corrupt. On yes sir. Now how we are going to pay it? Or do you have any idea? We are going to pay through your coin.
Oh, okay.
Say my contractor Juma. Now say Juma no 500 million a best one. 500 million no ajemu 20%. 20% no oji 20% aka 400 million me boa.
Yeah.
It's in contractor no so also pen fast for. Remember, I said you want 500 million about soon. And to also Gia. No, so what in fast so free so. Now, I can't best 300 million. And the equipment never first a bear quino. And the use less materials, good. It's a quino, ye and now. A bedroom china. Na a quino.
A tutu.
A tutu. It won't quite fast with ye tiaka. I don't know. Bro, young person from Anunsi. Verse 17 on our second saying.
I say, nor shall he greatly multiply silver and gold for himself.
Corruption, no.
Wow.
Said the Bible teaches things or making it clear to us. Someone who will not multiply what?
Silver and gold.
Silver and gold. To Asuka Krause saying.
Also, it shall be when he sits on the throne of his kingdom that he shall write for himself a copy of this law. Okay.
You remember the last ones quickly. It's the point of a person to say the person whom you are going to cast your vote for, no, make sure, say, he is not going to multiply silver and gold for himself. Already, no, Bible can't say the person should not multiply wives for himself. Because a man is corrupt. A man pray apesika every baby and says so nyeske free. And it is also a corrupt can hold the ane.
Yes,
Wapema gununswa a man on channel. Ejinisika. Oye ya onwangasa sape multiple gold and silver for himself. Until the end of whilst or the esika service amano na osa pebi egu ono ano ho. What do you think will happen to the nation? That's what the Bible. Yes, and we are obi aba. That is why you need to ask yourself these questions. Say, out of these 12 people now, which of them and na ne want some HS or corrupt? And you know, on say, and your man you listening, say you start your list saying the person should be someone or your mind but purchase or what or minor at heart.
Yeah.
What must I say? Number 2, yes, one day.
The person should be
on take your back.
Yeah.
The boy, he will not take us back. It ye obia the development I want in this. After also obi a multiply wives for himself.
Yeah.
Obi a onye ema person because edi na adwi frɛ adwuma no so. Ɛna epia ɔman sika ɛkɔ nkrɔfo bi hɔ. Ana afei so ɔse obi a multiply onye greedy no onye corrupt. Multiply silver and gold for himself. If the person was multiplying silver and gold for the nation, hallelujah. Where there he's doing it for himself. So what you're going to do is say you're going to pick all these candidates and ask yourself, say, the first one, why they want the country at heart? Here. No market at all. Number 2, why not on take and back? Nine so market at all. Number 3, why not multiply on per massem yen in a hunts and some about name massem ne a yerenum dodo. Now market at all. Now for what Busan say, why not on you greedy and corrupt? Now so market to be you know, dear one man can more at all. That becomes God's candidate. I think I can say we are never going to get a perfect person assembly in home, but we're going to cast our vote and select the less evil.
Oh, okay.
What I say, until you check all these things, say the Bible says that a person should not be greedy or yet selfish or no kwa the obedient nebusia for into oba baimua or nebusia for sebe ombeyi nenkro for sebe ombeyi ni krom for nkwa e kira say this person is greedy.
I see.
What must say 18? Think about that. Is that person thinking about only himself? Nesamo or cano. I can say, I don't know, can say, obeyam or my mano, or no one can say, Nema or the Bemo man as on Famom. Last I make a métier education minister here or to see educhum. And then he was talking about say Debentina teachers are a work school so ahudu a band school no omum for mumma enkwa band school. Yes, that was a legitimate question, no busa.
Yeah.
Debentina teachers are mumu chiran crofoma there or public schools no mum for mama ho. And they were talking about the environment. They were talking about Omuma Dachi. And then he says, that is why they are bringing the STEM. That's why they are bringing the changing infrastructure, the education system, so that changing school uniform. Aban Jesse, okay, sir, a tea and bread, no. Changing it so that people will love to bring their children, even the teachers themselves will love to bring their children to the schools. Now, I was looking at the documentary on, but your friend is saying East Legon.
Okay.
And the guy was saying, at the higher hotel, and I was there be a school at Yate. Imagine say, oh, Hanuma, looking at the reception no cry area no cry, oh, the Baba school. Me ba boy and it say a video do say, me fanon call a whole school. Say, but my point I'm a person making it say a minor encro for my amount for no. Near my almost so mumbaya my yen. You must say so one cassa mumba. O my nana.
I think that is a very important point.
Yes. And it's on no say or baby or minus what may away. No busa say Sadia na all cano. Say oba obeyeno. Obama ne buy a say jumanana. Do you get my point?
I get you.
It's Obama say me ba me mama a taxi, maybe a taxi amamo. No busa say offer Obama or buy a say juman no there. Obama unu anu ma say juman. oh meba memeto trog amamu nyina obi abenya trog no obusa say obema oba ayesa ade no ana etino so o person no ye greedy a oto trog mamwa no no wato bas amaneba hot base ono mfa ne mamma school ni bi enti ba bia ne mabeko school papa na mo no te de kwan be fa so amu be fa so bia na mo fa so. The point in it said the Bible teaches us that we should think about those who are campaigning some leadership role and ask yourself, say, which of these is greedy and corrupt? And cast your vote to the other person other than this man. The last one, bro, they now can the verse 19 to 20.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Also
I'll say. And it shall, verse 8, and it shall be when he sits on the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write for himself a copy of this law in a book, from the one before the priests, the Levites. Verse 19, and it shall be with him, and he shall read it all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, and be careful to observe all the words of this law and these statutes, that his heart may not be lifted above his brethren.
Good. It's nipa na okoto abama no busa ho se nyamisro onimu ana.
Okay.
Nyamisro ewonimu. Nyankopon asem opese ode ye adwuma na so opese ode ye adwuma. Say utie American election year course here Donald Trump any Harris. Donald Trump will say, let us check what our children are reading at the schools. In other words, say nyama nkwala ni suano efa LGBT ne I am loving myself. They will pen a any idea. They are children. They have not gotten to the point where they can reason and make those decisions. And what was that was what Donald Trump was saying. What about Harris? Any Tim Walz? As someone almost okay. I'm saying, leave your children. Don't tell your children. Don't tell my children what they should read. What does it mean? The Bible teaches us that we should do what?
We train up a child the way he should go. Yeah.
Train the children the way they should go. That when they grow, they will not depart from it. It is also young kwalana na de omo pe and omo ya. Bro, what does it mean? It means that when they grow, they will take the path which they wanted.
Yeah.
Whether good or bad. Enti onyankopon asem say nipa na mu beyin as a leader no consider the fear of God. Na sebi eburu obi nsoro nyame o ejimi for bro.
It's a Bible pattern.
Yeah. So obi nsoro nyame a ni nyansa so wo fom. Because enyema wo be nyina no ye wie na transness sen e be wo se nyansa bi edim. Because simply because you don't fear God. If you fear God, then you feel that you are going to be accountable. And therefore, you consider what you do before you do them. Now, if you don't fear God, you don't care. Because you're not even thinking about accountability. And therefore, why should you worry? The Bible teaches us that when the person becomes a king in Israel, the law of God should be handed to that person, that the person should read it. Now, when you say na radia samka, eti meshama braboyi. Enti no, wukoshia obi a say human rights. Human rights, enya obi amana mo bra said opebia. Obi so no oba beda jano. Obi so no be ma beda jano. Obi so no say on person be ma bi say ga oberu to wo hwe ho sa say me kra no say me mpe be ma bio me pe oba. Na wa ba say but she Richard she na beti be ma say kra mu say now about catch say or no Richard donko onye be ma bio or your back. Now, I pay back be a sense in the corner or yes, that I could see.
No, I can't lipstick.
Now, and they own okay. Now, bro, ordinamu. It is a ukotwaba busase. Nipa being out of Nipa 12 now mobile. Why na onu betimi de nurse for makase? Sebi aburu sanse nhunu we yan so. Why? What I say? And we are not thinking only about, and that comes to our values and our culture. So.
Okay.
Saying a yes, susu, saying yes, drink. It will be when we come to the point of selecting leaders, we need to think through. That's why we need to listen to them. Tie ne campaign message, you know. Tie ojina wa wo kasa tie asem na wo ka no. Tie news, ne tie ade a wo se wo ye no. Eti no. Enema 5 and I'm aboboso. Thankfully, enema 5. Eti you're going to weigh the politicians. Who should you vote for? Let me summarize it for you so that you know. Say a week from today.
Think about okay. I think
a
about
week
2
from
weeks.
today. No, a week from today. No.
Okay.
Now you about the next Saturday until we are aware the Wokotwamano.
Okay. Before I summarize it. Yeah, before I summarize it, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on all other social media platforms. And so we are saying for joining the papa. We are also thankful for the comments that have come in so far. I think it's been really encouraging. We had so many people. I think but more messages that from and I'll try and then capture the ones I can get over here. I think Isaac Meza, my kind of say, can't we have law? Can't we have a law to prevent the so-called prophets and pastors from declaring and announcing? I think Ghana and Mrano Emma only one agency the power to declare and announce winners in election. Into Moma Yenshen and so say any agency apart from the Electoral Commission, they have been given the power by the Constitution to announce and then declare the winners of the election. So thank you so much, Onyabem Isaac, Moma Yentwaso, Patrick, and so as you want for business. I think he was referring to some comments I'll make here previously. Thank you so much, Patrick. You've been very, very amazing.
No, he's making about. He's talking about the law. Isaac Meza, I can say. Yeah, making laws now. When say you want to spoil
someone's business. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. I'm because don't these are prophecies in the home. It's more my and so now. You fishes to buy Emmanuel also sharing live from Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I think so far these are the comments I have seen, but I hope that. If there are others, we will see them later on. But before we end today's session, we've spoken a lot, and then we've decided to just focus on the qualities to look out for when we're deciding to cast your votes. And you've given us about 5 of them. Just give us a summary of it, and then let's bring today's discussion to a close.
But that's it. Let me say. First of all, God does not select the leaders for us. We are going to select the leaders, and then He will endorse the leaders we select.
Okay.
That's the first thing. To be a dream. It is also for me. Now, can say, "Onyakopon selected one so nebe dia de amasa obwa. Onyakopon de what we should look out for to select the person." Bible says so omano nipa papa edi animu a omano ede
enyankoso na etu
omano nipa papa di animu omano enyampuntu ba ose se otirimodemfo di omano so omano ede omusi apini Now, if God is the one selecting them there, then why would he say that?
Yeah.
Think about it. If he is the one selecting the president for you, why would he say ni papa be there or man bre? Now, you see, Ghana is not theocracy, where God is the one sitting on the throne. Ghana is democracy, where the people select who will sit on the throne. Does God still rule in the affairs of men? Yes, sir. Yes, mom. God is still ruling in the affairs of men. But he gives us the power to make choices. And after we've made those choices, we face the consequences of those choices. And one of the choices that God gives us to make is the selecting of our leaders. And you know, now selecting crofua, what the criteria and amount, when you go upon him say, oh, select here, the people you are selecting, no, it comes with consequences. So he has admonished us as to how we should select those what leaders. Number one, the person should be someone who has the nation at heart. He should be a citizen. That's what he said. A citizen and not a spectator. Okay. As someone who is concerned about the movement of the nation, someone that is the person we are going to select. Now, if you go and you choose otherwise, you are telling God, say, Obi Obebe okay. It is what Obe we need to do. And say, for the two candidates, you know. Name say, Dr. Baumieni, your friend saying, John Mahamani, Omienu, why na ni su ne ban chere say, or minor at heart. Okay. It is what uko school we are their friend no frequency table no.
Yeah. Frequency distribution table.
It we are now market o tally. It is a 0.1 no. Ufi say John Mahama ena market mano. Say Dr. Baumia market mano. After yanko point number 2. Point number 2 ne say the person who will not lead the nation backwards. Into omu pe omu policies, omu track records, omu character no. Why na on fire go back as a nation?
Okay.
Eti omu sumienu one obeto ama no. Based on that, titie ne kasa, tie ne nsɛm a ɔka. Deɛ na move forward, deɛ na do ko achi. Because uti akwa ne kasa a ɔka na ade we deɛ sɛ no na ɔde ba pa deɛ ɛbɛkɔ achi. Ade we deɛ ɛno na ɔsa ampa yɛtoma na ɔde ba deɛ a ɛne deɛ ɛbɛkɔ yanim. Then you eti John Mahamani Dr. Baumieni, why na wo fi say otoma na ɔde ɛbɛkɔ yanim. Ɛno yɛ no atali 2 no. Number 3, candidate Ben Bible say he should not multiply wives for himself. Why na ne masem enkoyi? Akwa no hwe ne suban a opema dodo. Ore ne kasa nyina ya masem na aware yire no mu bebre. Busa ho, which of them? Your mama nie, Baumienie, omu de he, and of 50 Deuteronomy 17 verse 17 no. Or say a person would not multiply wives for himself. Why? Me church me say number 1, say na yire mu doso an ni problem so doso. Na yire mu doso ne sikasem so a problem, because more wives, more troubles, more demanding. It is so you'll be a na yere no mo doso a Obed, what is going to happen is say oba eso bo mu nyina akonhoma.
Yeah.
81 sika no mfa nkombo sa akonhoma no. Old mas sika. It's Jomana ne guess no mo dɔɔso a. Yawu. Onkwa seven guess ni nwie ya. Oma yeso.
David.
The Bible is telling us, say, vote for someone who will not multiply wives for himself. It is a wusu now also on there open my baby na. What is going to happen? What is going to happen is say you have selected a candidate God will not have selected. And therefore, if you are suffering, you will suffer as a result of the decision you made. It's your mom and Dr. Bamieni, Omumienu, why an officer of Pema, why an officer of multiply wife for himself, why an officer and someone home. You make that judgment. That is number 3. No. Number 4, someone who is not corrupt. The Bible teaches in the same verse 17, no, a person will not multiply gold and silver for himself. It's a question. Obed. Sangrofoya mieni joma menye. Dr. Bo mieni. Omienu. Why na ufi say yede corruption afofro no. Why na office oba ni bottom ni here no. Okay. Obepe gold and silver for himself. You make a decision. No market at all. And then finally, someone who will dignify God and his word. Die ni sunu ne ban wobe eso onyankopon semu. Se ono ankasa nyempo a obema ye kwan me aso onyankopon.
Okay.
Because so oba na ni sunu ne ban kire se ono no. Oba oma mo kwan ma mo nso onyankopon a, then there's a problem. What must say? It's no question is say Nema 5 we o telia Ubewie no Joma many Dr. Baumiani Joma manya saying out of the 5. Dr. Baumiani saying out of the 5. So 3 ye na omu nyina ba kunya 5 ni nyina and they say decision easy. But thankfully in fact there's a 6th one which I'm going to hold on and we'll discuss it next week. Okay. And that's how to do with a person who is so proud.
Okay.
Or a proud. Na the numkasa bon. Old man say, and then we'll talk about and near maybe I say involve a mouth one of them. Nipan appearance. Ko de me hu na me bukura ne ho fe. Ko de oye guy. Ko de oye say.
The tuntum kra ne kumen.
Aha. Iti no. Another thing in the tribal baby free. Ko with the baby free there be. Ko de free. No. And so say a take seat our decision table no. And number 3, inducing vote. Oh, mama away, or mama chiche away, it's a better man. There it is an man we will talk about it, the proudness. Because Obua Oje office or no near to see Ubia.
Yeah.
It's a baba no so, but the name of 5 ye jina so making decision no. Say Obed. Question 1. One listed top 5 ring in area. Hina onya dodo.
Okay.
And then based on that, you know, say me dream the mati me dream the Bible can now me the two candidate I think this one will fit best as God's candidate, and then you cast your vote for that person. Then that means we have prayed, we have listened to God's word, we have chosen a leader that kind of is more skewed, tilted towards the kind of a person God would have selected among the two. So why yes, sir? Then you are selecting people based on your own thing. And then don't go and tell God, say, whoa, now we're selecting leader of mine. But I must also say, it doesn't matter how selecting all these leaders are. Human beings can change. It will better man down. I don't come or better we are or worse. And that is why after selecting the leaders, we continually pray for them. Bible say, more Israel for mutu kwana muko baby. Pray for the leaders there, because in the peace of that nation, you shall have peace.
Yeah.
And so after we selected them, we continually pray for them. Now, on making decisions and choices are so that is God's candidate for tonight. Question is Obed, the American Dr. Bomieni, Nema 5. Or a citizen or a country now at heart, or multiply wives for himself. On your friend saying greedy, ne corrupt. On multiply gold and silver for himself. Now, or yankopon su and an buying. Your mama need the same thing. And or qualified to get your vote. You have to make the decision tonight.
Yeah, that was a papa brother Shadrach. Now me sure that as we go through this list, these 5 lists are we shouldn't just take it or trivialize it, because I know so Nyankopon will also hold us accountable. Use these 5 to ascertain who to vote for. No, my bias, we should do it finching now. If according to how you see it, if you think, say, this person is more qualified than the other, you make that decision. And as you said, we continuously pray for these leaders. Thank you so much, Brother Shadrach, for such an insightful discussion. You've really broadened my perspective when it comes to election. There are certain things that are not, prior to this discussion, I never knew them. But I'm very thankful, say, you've exposed them, and now I am enlightened. And I believe that my viewers are also similarly enlightened. Yeah, that was Papa. In fact, today it's been very, very interesting, and I hope that we've all had our share. You better send it in on comments, and so say on comments by more comment no monfa enche yemre no eko na nyankopon ya adoma next week yeba yebesa so edit discussion no atwa so yema mo nyina bye bye.